John, it continues to land that left hook.
The legs tell the story on a fighter. Look at the way Evans is moving around. He's moving around better than Gregg.
Gregg not moving at all and taking a lot of punches. Look at Evans landing. Now Gregg wakes up.
Turn around the other way. This turned into a real Donnybrook, didn't it?
Eddie Gregg has got to dig down. When it seems like sometimes he wakes up after he's taken a pounding, but it's taken him a long time here.
Well, we have always known that Eddie Gregg could take a punch. He's taken quite a few from Robert Evans, but he is a very tired fighter, Eddie Gregg, but he's still very powerful. Powerful on the top, weak on the bottom.
We are late in round 4. Eddie Gregg breathing heavily, can't get his hands up as Evans is looking to put him out. Evans is landing big punches.
Gregg is still strong, though, Sam. Gregg has got to come up with a punch, a big one.
It's a busy world we live in.
One is scheduled for 10. I don't know that either fighter could be standing by 10 rounds. They have really been going at it. Eddie Gregg in the white and Robert Evans in the blue.
They're both going to go from exhaustion, Sam, if nothing else.
Right now, I have got this fight even.
That's right. The first 2 rounds went to Gregg. The next 2 rounds I gave to Evans.
Look at Evans.
Look at this. Gregg is just standing there taking punches he shouldn't take. And I think he's doing it because he can't move, Sam. His legs are gone.
I have to agree with you, John. And I'm surprised because Eddie Gregg is got good physique, got the good body. Maybe it's not the road work. It's the road work.
Well, I don't know. He's usually in superb condition. I don't know.
His body looks good. He dropped a few pounds.
You know, punchers cheat on road work, Sam, because they figure they can knock the guy out whenever they want, and they figure they don't need as much as a lighter weight guy or a guy that doesn't punch that much.
Evans is going to have to, Gregg is going to have to suck it up in order to turn this around. Evans has come on. Both fighters have taken good punches. There's no question about that.
It's going to be a condition fight. The guy that's in the better condition, Sam, is the one that's going to win this fight.
And Eddie Gregg.
Eddie Gregg is still strong, as I mentioned, Sam. He's strong on top and weak from the middle down.
Gregg digging down. Now that is a similar style to the old Eddie Gregg, those arm punches,
right.
That flurry. Earlier in the fight, we saw Eddie Gregg putting his body behind it. Ooh, he just missed with that right hand. And again missed with that right.
Eddie Gregg is still a very dangerous fighter. He can do the job if he gets the shots in, he can do the job. So can Evans, so it's anybody's fight. It's a real good fight. It has turned into a real brawl. But still, Evans is still the slower puncher. Gregg, in spite of the fact that he's tired with his legs, he's still fast up on top. Fast enough. Faster than Evans.
Evans very tired as well. Breathing heavily, mouth wide open. And both fighters loading up and looking for one big punch.
I tell you, when you miss a punch like Evans just missed, it takes a lot out of you. Physically and psychologically.
Evans can barely stand up, John.
Yeah.
He went backwards against the ropes.
And I think you'll see Gregg come on a little bit more now.
Gregg has landed a couple of good body shots, and now the left hook lands. Boy, you talk about heart. Both fighters.
And you see Evans take it, and then he'll snap back. That's the way the fight has been going right from the beginning. In the early rounds, we thought that Evans would be out of there real early, and here he is.
Final seconds of round 5, scheduled for 10. Heavyweights in the ring, Eddie Gregg and Robert Lee Evans.
Now, if you want to see a couple of tired fighters, you just watch these 2 gentlemen sit down. Here we go. They're plunk. He's a tired young man, I'll tell you that. And that's saying, Robert Evans.
Where's the oxygen? Where's the oxygen?
There's another tired young man, Mr. Edward Gregg. And George Washington in the corner pleading with him.
Eddie Gregg saying this one has gone too long.
You'll see a real good mauling match here now. Again, Gregg is, the mistake he's making is moving inside like that. If he would stay outside, he would not have to take those punches, and I think he'd be able to do the job from out there. His arms are longer, and he's still, as I said, a very dangerous fighter. He's still strong on top.
Round 6, scheduled for 10.
Well, it's been a good fight.
Oh, no question about it.
I tell you, there's no question that Robert Evans came here to fight tonight. He was ready for this fight. He was in shape for it. He took a lot of punishment from Eddie Gregg in those first 2 rounds. An ordinary fighter would have been out of there in the punishment that Evans took in the early rounds. But he came back, and he came back strong, and Gregg has got to be in pretty good shape himself because Evans laid a lot of leather on him, too. And now, as I say, it's a question of condition. Perseverance, guts. That's what the fight is boiled down to.
Gotta want it here. Eddie Gregg looks like he's spotting it. Nice combinations.
From outside, that's where he should be doing it.
He's done his best work from there.
I like the way Evans is moving around the ring, though. He's springy.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Slapping left hand by Eddie Gregg.
He moves inside. Get out of there, Eddie. Move out of there. Just spin out of there and bring him with you.
Again, the arm punches by Eddie Gregg here. There you see, just reaching, pawing. Not stepping in the way he did earlier. Evans, roundhouse punches.
Yeah, wide punches from Evans. He's tired. Oh, boy, it really takes a lot out of you to miss a punch like that.
Evans getting in a couple of left hooks.
Evans, if Evans is smart, he'll get inside and stay inside.
And there's Gregg again when he throws that long-range combination. He looks good.
See, from there, Evans will take his punching power away. He's experienced enough to tie him up. And Gregg looks like nothing when he's inside. He's got to get Evans in the middle of the ring. He's got to throw punches from there.
Less than a minute to go in this
Tough fight. Real tough fight. A 10-round fight. 4 more rounds to go after this, Sam. You think they can do it? I don't. It's tough. I think somebody is going to collapse, exhausted, and the referee is going to say, "That's enough, gentlemen."
It seems like they collect themselves for a few flurries.
Yeah. Well, they're just, you know, what they're doing now is actually resting. When they're not punching, they're trying to get their battery back into shape.
Coming to the bell, round 6.
Round
The
7.
endurance contest continues. Round 7 heavyweights. It's been a good one. Don't get me wrong. This has been a good one.
It's a you hit me, I hit you fight now.
Eddie Gregg in the white, Robert Evans in the blue. And there's Evans with that left hook. Gregg with the right hand. I'll say this. We have seen some improvement in certain aspects of Eddie Gregg's fight game. But still, he's got a long way to go, John.
Yes, he has. And again, he's 30 years old, Sam. Has he got the time is the big question. And, you know,
But the division is wide open, John. The heavyweight division is wide open.
Yeah, that's true. And a fighter like Ronaldo Snipes turning down Eddie Gregg as an opponent. But maybe Ronaldo Snipes is figuring, if I lose to you, I've lost a lot. And if I win, what have I gained? You know?
Ooh, look at that exchange. Both fighters landing the right hands.
They're knocking heads and everything, Sam. They're doing everything now.
Bruising fight, and Evans is hanging tough.
Yes, he is.
Every time you think he's tiring and is about ready to go, he comes back.
It's a tight fight, Sam. This is no walkover for either one of these guys.
Some blood coming down the left side of the head of Robert Evans. I can't see where the cut is. It may be over the left eye.
Yes, it's in the corner of the eye, Sam, right at the end of the eyebrow, I think.
Eddie Gregg needs some room.
They are both so tired now that they are losing power by the second.
Evans staying close, much as you said, John.
That's where he has to stay if he wants to survive, and that's his fight inside. It is not Eddie Gregg's fight.
Eddie Gregg needs some punching room.
That's right.
Coming down to half a minute to go in the 7th round. Scheduled for 10. Right hand by Evans as he pulled Gregg across the ring. Sticking the laces in now. Vinny cautioning him about that. He rubbed Eddie Gregg's face with the laces.
If Robert Evans wins this, it'll be a major upset.
Final seconds, round 7. Professional boxing coming to you from Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum.
You start with a tough, crunching defense that never lets up. Then you add grace and power on offense in the forecourt, speed and playmaking in the backcourt. Mix in some new and old faces.
Round 8. And slowly plodding into the center of the ring are both fighters.
Did you figure this would go 8 rounds, Sam?
No way.
You figured it would go 10? It may very well, right?
They may hang in there.
They're both so punched out now that they're not hurting each other anymore. They're just throwing punches, and they're not all that strong.
Robert Evans goes back into his corner and gets a shower between rounds. I mean, they pour the water all over him.
I can see the corner. The corner is dripping wet.
There's that right hand by Eddie Gregg.
Stay out there, Eddie, and throw it out there.
A couple of jabs in that right. That's what Eddie has done best in this fight. When he wades inside, Robert Evans lands. Evans went for a walk around the ring. There's that Gregg right hand, but that time it was just an arm punch.
You know what? The legs on Robert Adams are better than Eddie Gregg's. He's been able to move around the ring a lot better than Eddie Gregg, and he's still doing it. He's dancing, actually. Gregg is just walking or plodding.
Oh, nice combination by Evans. And Eddie Gregg turns it around.
You give me one, I give you one.
Boy, this is a tough fight. Eddie Gregg has never been 10 rounds. The longest Eddie Gregg has ever gone is 9 rounds against Marvin Stinson back on October 7th of 1982. Robert Evans has never been 10 rounds. He's been 8 rounds 3 times in his pro career.
Now that you mentioned Marvin Stinson, Robert Evans has a style somewhat like Marvin Stinson, except that Evans punches harder than Stinson. Stinson has very little punch.
Both fighters wearing down, and they have kept up a tough pace. It's been a grueling battle. And we are late in the 8th round. Half a minute to go in this 8th. I'll tell you, this is the type of round that Evans might be stealing on the cards of the judges.
He is stealing this round. There's no question about it. And it's anybody's fight, Sam. I don't know who to give this fight to. I mean, I didn't put it down on the scorecard at the end of every round, but I wouldn't know who to give the fight to right now.
On my card, I've got it 4-3, and I'm about to give this round to Evans to even it up. As we come to the end of this 8th round, 2 very tired heavyweights. And you talk about heart and guts. Let's find out.
Look at Gregg walk to his corner.
And it's time for the shower for Robert Evans. It starts slowly.
It's the doctor looking at Robert Evans. I don't know why he is. There's no doctor looking at Eddie Gregg. And And Evans is no more.
I think they're checking that cut.
Oh, they're working on a cut. That's why. Okay, fine. I was going to say Evans is not in any worse shape than Eddie Gregg is.
No.
And Gregg doesn't have the luxury of a doctor in his corner. There he is. He has the luxury of George Washington and Tommy Gallagher in his corner.
Tommy Gallagher leading in. George Washington in front of Eddie Gregg.
Look at all the grease over the eyes of Eddie Gregg. They just loaded his eyes with grease over the eyebrows.
Round 9.
Sometimes that's not good because that grease can get into the eye, and if it does, you're cloudy for the rest of the fight.
Should have lifted up the trunks of Robert Evans a little bit. They've been sliding down that protective belt. This is round 9, scheduled for 10. You tuned in late, James Buddy McGirt, our other co-featured event, won a TKO when Jake Torrance did not continue at the end of the 6th. Mouthpiece out of the mouth of Robert Evans.
It's the second time in the fight that's happened.
Evans' mouth was wide open, takes a right hand, and that mouthpiece, after one punch, came flying out. Evans looks like he doesn't have anything left.
Yeah, that's the way he's been looking every time he's been hurt, but he's always come back. Look at the way his legs are, Sam. His legs are great.
Yeah. Gregg chasing him. It's not the way you're going to win the fight, though, by walking away.
No, you're not going to get it by doing road work, that's for sure. You've got to hit the other guy.
Now Evans coming back. And he's going for it. Look at this.
He takes what Gregg has got to offer, and then he comes back on his own.
And Gregg has landed a couple of solid right hands.
Yeah, he's hurt. Evans is hurt. He's grabbing and holding.
Guts and determination now.
Gregg is landing. Had a long ride being followed up with a couple of good ones.
He's got to go for that one big flurry, I think, John, and go for it, because Evans is ready to go.
If he goes for a flurry and he succeeds with it, the referee will stop the fight. He's got to throw a group of consecutive punches on Evans. He's throwing one shot at a time now. And Evans is still fighting back, so that's what the referee looks for. The guy offers no offense, just taking punches and stop it.
A couple of good rights. Oh, nice uppercut.
Now I'm sure the referee's going to take a good long look at this. And he is. You see Vinnie Ferguson right
Evans has not thrown a punch, John. That jab was the first punch he had thrown about 20, 30 seconds. It's all Eddie Gregg.
I think Vinnie Ferguson is getting ready. Look, he's ready to spring.
Evans is holding on.
Ready to spring.
Blood coming out of the mouth of Robert Evans. It's almost to that point.
Well, he's just looking to break him up, but he's looking at Evans very closely.
Good round for Eddie Gregg. Evans trying to last.
It's a shame that either one of them has to be stopped after a fight like this.
There you see it. 10 seconds in the round. Evans has not been throwing many punches. He is
exceedingly tired, son.
Exhausted. End of round 9. Good round for Eddie Gregg.
Get those hands up. Get them off.
Blood coming out of the mouth, and of course, don't forget, he lost his mouthpiece early in that 9th round.
Well, he could be missing a tooth or two as a result, but there is a lot of blood in his mouth. His nose is not bleeding, so it's not coming from there.
Now the question is, will he come out for round 10?
Now he has 2 doctors in his corner, Dr. Frank Folk and Dr. Istorico.
Vinnie Ferguson talking with one of the doctors right now, and I guess got a little instruction as to what to look for. The possibility of stopping the fight. There you see action from round 9. All Eddie Gregg in that 9th round. A couple of good flurries. There's that right hand again. Evans just covering up and not throwing back. Good solid right hand uppercut by Eddie Gregg. You see Evans has not thrown a punch in that flurry.
That's what they look for. Evans had 2 doctors in his corner. Gregg had none. Gregg is no first daisy himself, so they should have had somebody looking at him also, unless the doctors were looking at that cut exclusively. And the cut doesn't seem to be that bad right now.
No way I would have believed this would be here at the 10th round. And look at Evans. Look at Evans landing.
I guess they told him he's got to pull it out.
Roundhouse punches. This has been a tough fight. This has got to be the toughest fight of Eddie Gregg's career. Undefeated Eddie Gregg, 18-0-1.
I just gained a lot of respect, too, for Eddie Allen, Mark Madow's manager, who said that Evans would do exactly what he did. He says, you're going to be shocked when you see him, and I really am, because I didn't figure he'd be here at the 10th round.
And they're still throwing punches. This has been a good fight.
Up to this point, in this round, the 10th round, it is Evans's round. Up to this point. There's a long way to go in the round yet.
A little under 2 minutes to go. And Evans still landing. Got that short left hook in there. Boy, Evans has found some strength, some energy from someplace. I don't know where. Eddie Gregg's got to find some here. Gregg gets a short left. Good right by Eddie Gregg. Wow, what a fight. Neither fighter has ever been 10 rounds. Eddie Gregg in his 20th professional fight, 18-0-1. That draw with Oliver Wright in 1980. The only blemish on Eddie Gregg's career. This one is a very close fight, and it will be very interesting to see how the judges score this one.
I think that Gregg pulled it out, Sam. I think he did enough to win the fight.
Less than a minute to go in the fight. Turned into a bit of a wrestling match here as both fighters have trouble getting their arms up.
Going to be happy when they hear the bell. It's been a long night for them.
Wow. And you can see Eddie Gregg just leaning all over Robert Evans, asking Evans to hold him up for a little while.
Well, there were times when they both looked like they were going to go in the fight. And again, the condition is what kept them going.
Look at Evans. Come on with a couple of punches. Final seconds of this fight. There have been no knockdowns. It has been a good one. As we come to the bell.
That's the hardest fight either one of them has been in since they started fighting, I'm sure. Can't fight much harder than that. Put that much effort into it. In every fight you have, you wouldn't be around so long. A salute to both of them. They're really a good fight.
Well, Eddie Gregg, he said we'd see some new things. Early in the fight, he showed us better punching leverage than he did in previous fights. There's no question he tired in that fight.
Yes,
Yet he did last 10 rounds.
And he tired early. He tired early in the fight. So, like you mentioned, it might be on that road as much as you have.
A tough fight for Eddie Gregg. Robert Evans, a journeyman fighter, 6'6" in his pro career. He's fought some known fighters, Tim Witherspoon, James Broad, and then he stopped young Joe Louis January 18th. And now going 10 rounds against Eddie Gregg in a good, lively 10-round bout.
Two doctors in the ring. That's Dr. Esterico there and Dr. Frank Folk talking to both fighters. Dr. Frank Folk walked over to the corner with Eddie Gregg, and they both walked out and talked to both fighters. They're okay.
Okay, cards have been counted. Carl Martin lets us in on the decision.
How about a nice hand for these two game fighters? Great fight. The winner has been declared to be Eddie Gregg.
Eddie Gregg has won it. Eddie Gregg, the winner. Some of the fans not too happy with that decision.
No matter who's the winner. They given it to Evans, they'd have put that too. So it was that kind of a fight.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good fight. Both fighters. It's a shame that either one has to lose.
Good
And I think to satisfy the fans, if they had called it a draw, the fans would have been happy. But it wouldn't have been fair. I think that Gregg did win it.
I did 6'4" for Eddie Gregg. A tough fight. This is the best he's ever been on. Big test for him.
That's right. And good form. He fought in shape. He certainly fought with the shape of this fight.
Absolutely. And we'll go back to the talk with Eddie Gregg in just a moment, so stay with us on Professional Boxing. And welcome back to Madison Square Garden's Feld Forum. After our co-featured event, a close, tough fight between Eddie Gregg and Robert Evans, and Eddie Gregg pulling out the decision and is now 19-0-1. He's with John Condon right now. Let's go to John.
Eddie, is that the toughest fight you've ever had?
Yes, it was, John.
You think it was good for you?
I think it was very good for me. I didn't underestimate Bobby, but I knew by him taking this fight, he was ready. He had been training. He had won 2 fights in a row, and he was ready for a step up in class, and he came at me. He came to win. I was able to run and get the decision.
Were you in the best shape for this fight?
I think it was.
You appeared to get a little tired early in the round, earlier than usual.
Yeah. We were throwing a lot of punches in first round. Any fight, no matter what you win, we do it.
During the fight, you were tired from the hits down. From up, you were so strong.
It's true. I was a little tired from maybe I had to a little bit of my running, maybe. I don't know. I was strong from the waist up, and even if he was pushing me around, he wasn't hitting me. And then I responded back and pushed him back. He was pushing me back to destination. That's the reason why he was doing that. He was trying to kick me out. And he knew he had to win by knockout.
I thought that your fight was outside of you. You should have put more from outside. Fighting his fight when you were playing his chest or allowing him to lay on your
I was trying to get more and working at it. It's coming. Somebody from 1 to 10.
From 1 to 10. Good. You're at the point now where you're reading that. You're what, 30 years of age now? 29. And you're at the point where you need somebody more than those has already turned you down, right?
I did a lot of boxing in him. So that's why he won the
from 1 to 10.
Nope.
But you're cool. Make a comeback with your fight.
Yes, I will.
Hope he's listening.
Like I said before, we fight for money. So nothing makes some money to time.
You showed that you're a rookie already. I mean, you showed that you had it in here as well as in the arm and the head. So you did yourself a lot of good tonight.
Everybody looks at Robbie as a rookie. But I've been around about 2 years now. And early part of his career, he lost some good guys. He was never really in shape. But for his last 2 fights, he won by knockout. He fell. He was for me. I knew. I thought I could knock him out, but as it goes in boxing, you can't knock everybody out. So going around was very good for me. It gave me a chance to expose myself to the people that I can go 10 rounds and fight around.
Eddie, best of luck to you. Great night for you. Great win.
Thank you,
John.
Thank you, John. Congratulations to Eddie Gregg, who remains undefeated.
Getting close to our main event, Eddie Gregg and Walter Santamore, 2 big heavyweights. This is a very big fight.